Hello, it is me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we are here to look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others and in our external environment. And if we want to see change, we do need to shift and change the energy within so that it will be reflected back to us from the outside world. I am doing the week ahead reading. I have a divine feminine, divine masculine energy, and then I've pulled 3 Guardian of the Night tarot cards as an overall energy, which you can use about either yourself as a whole or your connection with someone as a whole, however you want to interpret it. And then I have 3 oracle cards. This entire reading is going to be available, so there's no extended reading today for this, but there was an extended reading for the Tell Me Everything reading, which I did yesterday. And it was good. So if you want access to that, it's only $1 to become a member. Go to turnedintarot.com. The link is below, or you can find it at the link in my profile if you're watching on TikTok, and become a member for $1. You have access to all of the extended readings going back in time. So there's over 100 readings there for you to peruse when you need me. But if you do not want to spend money at this time, I totally understand. You know, these are strange times these days. You can also support me by going through my collection of videos, Tuned in Tarot YouTube, all completely free, many hours, full-length readings. For years I've been doing hour and a half, 2-hour readings. So there's plenty of readings there for you. And every time you watch full hours of my readings, it helps boost my, I think I have to get like 5,000 or 3,000 hours of views or something like that in order to be monetized on YouTube. So I'm currently not monetized, and that would actually help me. So that's another way to invest if you are wanting to watch my readings for free. And I do appreciate that. So thank you for all of you who already like, subscribe, and support my channel in all the various ways. I do appreciate all of you so much. And to my current members, I thank you. Let's find out what's going on during this week ahead. We will start ladies first with the feminine energy. When I say ladies, of course, I mean that metaphorically, because I am never talking about gender. I really am just talking about the energy of our emotions, our intuition, our inner world, our connection with the divine. And when I talk about the masculine energy, I'm talking about our intellect and our thoughts and our taking action in the world, and like our projection of the inner world out into the outer world. And you can associate this energy with people in your life, of course, but you should always associate it with your own self first. And that's going to give you information about why people are coming into your life and acting the way they're acting. And that's the real value in these readings that I'm doing for you. So where is the overall energy this week for the emotions, for the feelings, for the feminine energy, for those of us leaning into our feminine energy? And if you are focused on a person, where their feminine energy is, where their emotions, where their feelings are. I keep getting, so there's a client who keeps asking me to do spell work, and I just wanted to say for the record, I don't know where this has come up. I never do that for people. Spell work is done by your own words, your own thoughts, and your own mantras. I do not try to influence people in any way. So that's not a service I offer. I don't know if somebody is saying that I'm offering that service. I don't, because I have somebody who keeps coming to me and asking me over and over again for this, and I'm like, no. if you're not a witch, you can't get a spell. I don't know what to say. You got to do your own spell work. Like if you're a muggle, I'm sorry about it. But anyway, just for the record, that just popped up and I wanted to say that. I do readings for people. I help you find insight into your inner world. I help you learn how to create your own spells through the words you're saying, through the things you're writing down, through your mantras, because your spell work is just what you're saying and doing. It's like the feeling you're imbuing into rituals that you make for yourself. But that's all. Okay. That needed to be said. All right. So where's the feminine energy? The feminine energy is in the 6 of Pentacles. This is the energy of giving and receiving in a balanced way. And I'm actually going to dip into my own private message that I received this morning when I did my own reading, because it really is resonating right now. That what I wrote down today was, I overcome wishful thinking in relationships and the tendency to deny the truth when power is out of balance, in the hopes that my sacrifices will result in reciprocity. I now know when the balance of power is appropriate or when one party is using their position to an advantage. Okay? So that, I think, is very true for the feminine energy right now. I think there was a time when the feminine energy was comfortable accepting less in the hopes that her sacrifice would encourage someone else to give more. But all that happened is that she taught people to give her less and to expect to have to give her less than what she was willing to give. No more. This is a week of no more of that. This is the week of you finally see the results of you stepping into your belief that you deserve to receive as much as you give. This is the week when you finally see a physical manifestation of that. You feel that at a deep level. The headspace, the masculine energy, the intellect, the person leaning more into the feeling of the masculine energy is in the King of Cups energy. But I see this King of Cups making moves and I feel mastery. This doesn't feel like a lack king. A King of Cups in a lack mentality is going to withhold emotions and feelings. Fear diving into them. But this is somebody who I'm seeing moving through the emotions. Normally they're on a boat, but this king is actually in the water, fully immersed. Okay? So that is really going with this energy here of reciprocity. What this means is that you are acting in your mind as a gentle and loving guide, so that you're actually assessing whether or not it's appropriate to share the depth of your emotions, to be completely vulnerable based on whether or not you feel you are actually receiving as much as you are giving. Beautiful energy. What a good week you'll have with that kind of an energy. This could also be a time when you recognize that you have often navigated to, from, and around emotionally unavailable people because you yourself were always tangential to emotional unavailability. What is underlying this week? It's kind of sexy. It's the Two of Wands and the Lover's card. And it's giving this feeling for me of, feeling that there is this soul connection, something you've asked for, something you've desired, or this path that you've been longing to take. And I get a sense that there's been a lot of restlessness around it and a lot of machinating where you've been trying to figure out how to get what it is that you've wanted. And you're now stepping into an energy where you're not going to be constantly trying to make these things happen, but instead seeing like all of the right pieces come into place so that things are crossing your path and things are coming together and aligning with you that once were constantly in parallel motion. I keep seeing lines crossing instead of being in parallel. I'm also getting strong messages of twin energy there because of the contrasting yin-yang kind of feeling in the Lover's card. And the masculine energy, of course, has asked for something and has this restlessness to like fulfill it. So that's underlying the week. I'm seeing a masculine energy that is restless, is like, I'm done planning, I'm done strategizing, I'm done, I just have to let this happen. And it's like all of the planning is just a way for me to live in like fantasy land. Okay, so actually I will do this. Alright, sorry, just getting these cards out of the way here so I can read these. Okay, so what are we carrying in from last week into this week? We have Divine Feminine Energy with Queen of Pentacles. This is nurturing yourself and others. This is being creative in the physical world, tapping into your abundance, feeling independent. It can be having a lot of, I'm seeing a lot of creative ideas because we've got the rabbit there. So this, you're like a fertile ground for planting seeds right now, metaphorically speaking. Might also be in terms of someone's cycle, actually. like your moon cycle. And then the masculine energy, we have, wow, the Five of Wands and the Hierophant. So 5-5 energy coming. So what's being brought in from last week is a little bit of a struggle here with commitment in particular. And I think it's this idea that like this is a coveted feminine energy. There will be many who will vie for this energy. This so it's like maybe you're having a lot of ideas and it's hard to commit to one thing right now. Like I have a record release and I have tarot stuff going and I have to try to find somebody to get on top of my taking care of this and I need that and I'm trying to find a manager and I've like so I have a lot of ideas right now and it might be hard for me to just commit to one and say okay, I'm going full throttle in this area. And I want to give everything the same kind of time and attention. So that could be how it's translating in your own life in terms of a connection or a relationship. I'm seeing a masculine energy that is probably struggling because this person wants to marry you and they have to overcome some kind of an internal struggle or fear of competition or something, or they have to beat out others for this and they have to do something. So they're carrying, and that's giving the urgency with the Two of Wands here, the restlessness. It's like, I need to do something. I've got to do something. I've got to do something. If I want to express these deep feelings I have, I need to actually do something about it. What the current energy is of this week, we've got the Queen of Wands. Wow, so the feminine is Queen of Pentacles. She's got the money and now she's got the vision. So it's like she found, it's funny because last week I got told that my record's being mastered, so that's happening. And now I have to envision the release, right? She's got confidence. She's got pizzazz. She probably looks really good right now. Like very, very attractive, like on fire, like hot. And Divine Masculine, Ola. There's the Queen of Cups. The matching energy to the King of Cups here. All right, so very interesting. So right now, Divine Feminine is hot, on fire, ready to go. And Divine Masculine is in love. Okay, so the mind is like really seeing your beauty. This would be, if you're talking about yourself and not a connection, this would be you looking in the mirror and seeing your beauty and being like, I see how beautiful I am. And having compassion for yourself and taking care of yourself and loving yourself and like really treating yourself like the queen that you are. I just started putting new queen of pop, hashtag new queen of pop on all of my music posts because bitch, am I right? I am going to be that. That's who I am, right? So it's like acknowledging who you are, seeing who you are, and loving who you are. Loving who you are. And if you're doing this, your person could be doing this. If your person is not doing this, that means what? They are not your person, period. Point blank, simple. Your person is a match for you. So a person who's not doing this is not currently a match. Are we in a lifespan where we just wait for the person to catch up? It's your choice, man. If you want to be in that lifespan, like deuces, that's up to you. Like I'm definitely not running your show 25515 right now on the clock. And I'm not judging it, and that might be what you need to do, and you might be in a period where that's beneficial to you because you have a lot to develop in yourself and you have a vision that you need to build, and waiting is something that gives you the time and space to get there. But for those of you that aren't in that space, the person who matches you has got this going on right now. They are confident about themselves. They love who they are. They have compassion for themselves. They feel magnetic. They have a vision. They're seeking to fulfill themselves on a heart level from the mind and the heart. Like it's a really beautiful energy. I really freaking like it a lot. So that is going on. And then where are we going this week? Okay, first of all, the Divine Masculine threw a card and then made me do more. So the first card that came out, oh wait, let me do feminine first. So feminine energy, you've got something to consider. You've got something to show for it. It's not just you being metaphorically in your confidence, in your power, manifesting. You've got a physical thing coming this week to look at, to consider, to observe, to check and see if it's what you really want, to analyze. This is also you feeling like you've got to start somewhere and build. Like you have a vision, you know who you are, you have the resources, you can do this, you can make this, you love what you're doing, you love it, you want to guide it to its fulfillment, and you're willing to put in the work. You're going to take it one step at a time. That's how you eat an elephant. That's what you're going to do. Okay? Coming in under that, the divine masculine energy, first he throws the wheel of fortune and says, big, huge change, big cycle, turnaround, a complete turnaround, something big. And then there's so much going on. Then he gives me the justice card. Big karmic cycle ending, changing. Then he gives me the 7 of wands, which is like standing your ground and fighting for something. And you know, if you can see success, nothing is going to stop you from being successful. You're not going to risk losing everything you've built. You're going to keep going, you're going to keep persevering, and you're going to make it. And you're going to do justice to yourself by making these changes, by making some change that might start with a small change and turn into something bigger as you just let this momentum carry you forward. This looks like people being like, you know what? I'm just going to take a chance. I'm going to apologize for what's happened. I'm going to fight for this success with this person, and I'm going to lay everything out, and that's what I'm going to do. Others of you will see people who will fight against their desire to do this. They will hold themselves back still from doing this because they're still really needing to work through that internal struggle that's going on surrounding being committed to themselves. And that might be you too. You might really, really fight against your desire to go full on. Yesterday, I really accepted that I have pathological demand avoidance. If you don't know what that is, look it up. You probably will see some familiarity in it if you're in my collective. But it's like an autistic spectrum issue. And it's something that really makes your life very difficult. And it's this attitude. It's taking this attitude towards any authority figures in your life, including yourself. Anything that feels like a demand, you will fight against, even if you want to be successful. And so the 7 of Wands for me is really representing that stance. Sometimes there's this element inside of us that really pushes back against our desire to have what we want. And it's sometimes even out of our hands, but you can pray to be released from that. I do believe you can be released from that, or aided in that, or helped in some way. All right, now we're going to do the final 3 cards. So we have this is what's coming in from the past for you as a whole person, or for you in a connection with somebody. This card, let me tell you, the devil has been coming up a lot, and I really think this is about pleasure and knowing the very subtle difference between allowing yourself to enjoy and indulge in pleasure without overdoing it, without going overboard, and recognizing when you are in cycles, karmic cycles, where you are addicted to receiving some kind of you're to getting an emotional reaction or being triggered or feel something in some way that is actually not satiating you. Okay? So there's this element in the connection also of obsession, constantly watching and observing and relying upon that method. And it can also be sexual energy too, like that's channeled outside of creation into like shallower areas, whereas it should be poured into like your art, something like that. The current energy for this connection is the 3 of Wands. This is the energy of its time. Someone literally wrote that as a comment on one of my videos. It's time. And I said, I cross my fingers that this is right. If we are in the 2 of Wands, we have to progress then to the 3 of Wands, and then we have to go from the 3 of Wands to the 4 of Wands. And it's time. It's time for that. We've fixated, we've obsessed, we've indulged long enough, and now it is time for the ships to come in, and then we end up here with the 9 of Pentacles, which is where that self-indulgence has to be balanced, where you're allowed to really reward yourself because you've worked hard, but you don't want to reward yourself to the point where you lose all the ground that you have gained. And the Nine of Pentacles is also about maintaining your autonomy and your freedom. Like, this is what you have been waiting for. You have been waiting for a connection where you feel that you can have your autonomy. When I found out, so to have pathological demand avoidance is also known in the autism community as persistent autonomy, or like persistent need for autonomy. And it causes you to be empathic and really, try to understand everybody's need for them to feel like they have a choice, right? Like they're not forced into something, like they can make decisions without feeling like demands are put upon them. This makes me a good partner for somebody who has had very controlling people in their lives, but it also, those people will probably have a lot of fear in entering into a connection with me because they carry the wounds of having been controlled, and it will maybe take a while for them to adjust to being with a partner that's like, you have autonomy here. This is your, I'm not going to try to control the way you feel, the way you think, or the way you act. Like, I like who you are, and we have a lot of places where how we are like crosses, connects, feels good. And I'm going to focus on those things. And the places that are less like of a connection for us, I'm giving you your autonomy and I'm taking mine, right? Like, I have my own inner world and you have your own inner world, and I don't expect us to always be enmeshed. I expect a healthy enmeshment. So it's a much different kind of a connection, and it's for somebody that's used to somebody who's controlling every element, the expectation is like, you have to like pivot constantly. You have to compromise your own needs. You have to and it would be scary to commit to another person if you were constantly struggling to gain your ground. I also had a controlling partner, so I know what that's like, right? So, your connection is benefiting from the time that you have explored other options, from the time that you've learned from other karmic cycles, from the work that you've done on addiction and cycling through behaviors and patterns that keep you stuck in place. And it's time for you to be rewarded for this. And this week is a significant week for that. Your message from Unlocking the Secret Garden is uncertainty. It's number 41. And this says, befriending uncertainty is the key to unlocking bravery. Even though certainty is praised in our culture as confidence, it's overrated. Are you aware that when you actually don't know what's coming next, you have a multitude of options? Miracles tingle with excitement just to be near you, because at that moment you radiate possibility. There is great power in uncertainty. Befriending it is what attracts new ideas and revelations. A whole slew of paths unfold before you, begging for your steps. Ones that wouldn't have existed while you're in the fixed position of certainty. Which one will you choose? Take some time to be in the unknowing and watch the possibilities expand into a whole new horizon of choices, which is what the Nine of Pentacles provides. The Nine of Pentacles is like a good place to be, because you are free to explore, honey. Your card from the Amenti Oracle is, I follow my inner guidance. So that, I don't even need to read that. That's very clear. Like, this week, you need to keep going back to that High Priestess energy and follow your inner guidance in all things. So, when you have a decision to make and you listen to your friends' opinions about it, or you talk to your friends' opinions about it, you listen, you take it in, but at the end of the day, maybe you get a tarot reading, but at the end of the day, you close your eyes, you assess your real feelings, you feel into the thoughts you're having, and you think about the feelings you're having, and you ping pong those back and forth, and you learn to communicate with your inner guidance system. If you can't learn how to follow your inner GPS, you will not be able to find your way, because people are going to steer you along paths that are appropriate for them, not you, because they're following their inner guidance system. The final card, this is your activity that you need to engage in this week. It is to make a meal. You want to make a meal for yourself. This is number 32. And if you don't like cooking or preparing food, sometimes we don't like doing things that are actually really healing and nourishing to us, because it feels weird to receive that kind of love and attention. But if it's really something that is unpleasant to you, you don't have to prepare the food yourself, but maybe you order in and plate it for yourself, or just have this meal something substantive, rather, like if you usually go and just have like a smoothie, or you have like fast food, like maybe you just choose something that's just more nourishing in that way. Your mantra is, I am nourished by food infused with love. So letting other people prepare meals for you too is something that would be appropriate, I guess, in this energy. When made with love and intention, food has the power to nourish us beyond a physical level. Prepare yourself a beautiful meal that's healthy and delicious. Perhaps a favorite from childhood, or a dish with seasonal ingredients bought from a market or a shop offering organic and local produce. Remain mindful and present throughout the entire process, consciously infusing love and gratitude into the food that you make. Eat it with the same level of presence and appreciation. Whether you are hosting a grand feast with loved ones or a weeknight dinner for one, a simple dish or the most complex cuisine, take great pride in knowing that your two hands created it. Your journal prompt is, what is your favorite meal from childhood? How can you recreate this meal for yourself and make it equally meaningful and tasty? That's a really good activity to do too if you don't know what your passions are. If you have lost touch with like what you want to do, or things that you think would be fun to do in your life, creating a meal from your childhood and getting back into your inner child energy is a really good place to reconnect with the part of you that you might not have had the space or the resources or the emotional mental support to be able to explore. So it's a good way to offer yourself the opportunity, because a lot of us did not have dream-like childhoods where people were like, saying, oh, take a dance class, take a art class, you're a great writer. Some of us had really, really terrible, lonely, cold, even some benign neglect situations where no one was asking you questions, no one was finding out what your interests were, no one was telling you that it was okay to, and not okay, that it was necessary for you to develop as a person. If you had a childhood like that, of course you are coming up empty when you're trying to think about what you want to do, because nobody gave you the permission to do that. Nobody actually even encouraged you to try. So it's so appropriate for you to return to a childlike state, play childlike games, board games, go to toy stores, color in coloring books, play with nieces and nephews, get down into a sandbox, go to the beach, go hiking, go do things that little kids like to do, because somewhere in there is a whole world for you to discover. And sometimes eating a meal from when we were young will trigger memories. So that's one of the reasons I recommend doing that when you're trying to identify what your true passions are, what deeply interests you, because your inner child came here with a whole map of what it wanted to explore. And some of us were cut off from that map by the adults around us who didn't believe they had their own permission to explore. So anyway, that's coming to me today. But that is the week ahead. That's what to expect. If you did not get the whole reading, if you're just joining me here on TikTok, it is going to be available once I upload this video right here to YouTube. Thank you to everybody who is already supporting this channel. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and consider booking a private one-on-one session with me, or becoming a member at all the different levels to support the channel. Thank you so much.